What's going on, everybody? This is Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains, and I'm back with another build here. What you see is a Downtown Deco kit. I actually got this off of eBay, and the seller advised me that there were several pieces that were missing, and all the wall pieces were intact. So originally, when I got the building, I was going to go ahead and assemble it and then compensate for the pieces that were missing. Then I came across another kit, the same kit, but it had all the pieces intact. Matter of fact, the box wasn't even opened. So I decided that I would go ahead and use this one to make a building that is being demolished, which I think will be an interesting touch for the urban type of scenery I'm trying to have on this particular area of the layout. Now, these particular kits are no longer available, so it's taken me quite a while to get them, probably going on 2 years to get them, and I lucked up on 2 of them within the same year. You just got to be diligent. I'm going to go ahead and see what mess I can get into. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do. I know I have to break some walls out, and this is plaster, so it can be tricky. But I'm going to go ahead and get that started, and I will be back. Okay, I am on the verge of closing this building up. I just got to add the 4th wall here. But I decided to go ahead and add some graffiti inside. You'll barely be able to see inside, but for those who want to sneak a peek, you can see where the taggers have went in at the last moment as the building construction company or demolishing company has come in and started demolishing the building. They went ahead and got their access. Or maybe they had access prior to the demolition starting because there were doors that were broken and windows that were broken. But I thought it'd be a nice little touch. Of course, I painted the inside as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing closed up. And I also need to get the stairwell on. Okay, so what you see right here, this section is what I'm going to cut out to show the dilapidated building, or the building that's actually being torn down. So I'm gonna cut that basic shape out there. I think I'm gonna use a razor saw and cut that out, and then I'll do a little bit more trimming to give a little bit more strict edges. So let's go ahead and break the wall down. All right, so I finished chiseling out, or the basic chiseling and cutting out. But as you can see, because I'm dealing with plaster, I had a little accident, and I'm not fretting because these will be easy to put back together, and it'll look good as new. But that is the precaution that you'll have to take if you're working with plaster, because obviously it's very fragile. And this piece here actually came when it was delivered like this, but once again, it's an easy connect. So I'm gonna get these pieces glued back together and move forward. Okay, I couldn't resist. So not only did I get the wall back on, I went ahead and started painting just to go ahead and get through some more of this. Don't want to have this video run on too long. Plus, it's kind of basically the same routine with all of these buildings, the way I'm going to paint them. They'll all have their identity, but the process is pretty much going to be the same. So as you can see, we got the stairwell put on as well. Have this I guess, swamp kind of green color. And the entire building, for the most part, is a terracotta color. Pretty standard color for brickwork. And then the demolished wall. So we've got all of that on. Looking pretty good. That was a bear to trim out and get that like that. And I'm not afraid to admit, during the process, I broke the wall. Actually, one was from while I was doing the carving of these brick pieces, and the other was just because I'm really clumsy. But the nature of this hydrocal is you can put it back together, and the seam fits right together when you glue it. So when I put decals and do any kind of work on this detail work, you'll never know that those were there. So it'll be our secret. And then, of course, the back is got the door down there. And I did try to mask this off, but you can see there's some green that kind of leaked in somehow, and that's okay. It's actually perfect. As Boomer says, it's one of those anomalies that you don't expect, and it happens, and it makes things better. The same thing happened right here as well. So at this point in time, I'm going to go ahead and do a little dark wash over the entire thing, and I may do some highlighting. We'll see how far my creative juices go, but I'll try not to get too far ahead because I do want to kind of show you the step-by-step process. Oh, and another terrible thing that I did, but I'm just going to leave it alone. I don't know if you noticed, but not only did I put these on the top, these windows, broken out windows, but I also put it on the wrong side. That's called rushing to get things together, and I totally blew it out the park this time. But I'm going to leave it like that. So it'll be 3 windows that you can see instead of 4, and it's on the wrong side. Should be on the other side. But oh well. So let's go ahead and get back to work, and we'll see how far I can get. So I just wanted to give a quick little update. These are the windows and the doorway that I'm going to be inserting in the structure. And I just cut it out of this piece of cardboard that was in one of the boxes. And the scale lumber kind of cut it up with the chopper. And we're going to insert that. Okay, you can see how I've started to add the decals on the side here, and you can actually see inside of the building the tags and graffiti come out very well, and I think it's a nice effect there. And let's see, I'm going to turn the building around. You can also see where I've added a few decals in the back. I'm not sure if I'm going to add any more, but I know I need to still add some over on this side. Have a few here, and then you see I put in the windows, or I should say the boards that board up the windows. Bit of graffiti on the lower one, and then in the front, all windows and doors have been boarded up, and the taggers couldn't resist on the top floor. So we've got that going as well. I may do a bit on some of the other windows and the door to the left there, But this is where we are. I think it's going in the direction that I want it to go in. I'm feeling okay about where we're at so far. So at this point in time, I'm going to add a few more decals, and it's probably time to go ahead and start getting the roof on. So we'll start looking at that. This particular building will not have lighting in it for obvious reasons. But yeah, exciting stuff. All right, all my wonderful viewers, I'm back, and I just wanted to give you a little progress on where I'm at. I have completed the stairwell on the left side of the building by adding some styrene as a surface to mount this corrugated roofing on. And the last time I built this kit, which is in a previous one of my builds, the Skid Row build, in that kit I said that Randy, the owner of Downtown Deco, provides this paper corrugated roofing, which was actually just printed off, and it was really well done. And I didn't use it on the last kit because I had some other material that I wanted to experiment with that gave a little bit more dimension. But I said I was going to use it eventually, and I knew I would probably use it on this particular project. And I think it came out pretty good. I chopped it up, and then I actually weathered it. Went through, did some painting, and added some chalks to it to give it a little bit more realism, but it was a nice foundation to start with. And I'm not sure how much of this you're actually going to see, which is why I wanted to use this particular material instead of the corrugated roofing that I purchased that, was a little bit more three-dimensional. So I really like how that has turned out. And so let me go ahead and turn the building around and let you see what I've done to the other side. All right, and so the other small addition that I made is with this lettering to spell out what the name of the hotel is. And my theory behind it is the building originally is called Angel's Flight Hotel, but in one point in modernizing the buildings, they updated the name and just didn't wipe out the other name on the other building or mask it off. So it's called Silhouette Inn. And not sure if you remember the other building, but in the windows there are these figures and they look just like that silhouette. So I just came up with this name. And as I've already alluded to, these two buildings, the two Skid Row Part 3 buildings, will be sitting right beside each other. All right, YouTube, here is the 95% finished product. What we're looking at now, obviously, is the front. The only thing that has changed with that is I did a little bit more weathering with some pastels and a few pigments. I also added the address down there. Not sure how well you can see that, but it says 423. That address is pretty significant to me as it was my grandmother's address where I grew up the first part of my life. I'm going to turn the building to the side and give you another glimpse of what I've added there as well. All right, here's a look at the right side of the building. You can see I added the floor there with some tumbled furniture in there. Also did a bit more weathering around that opening just to show that when the machinery went in and knocked that wall out, it created a large amount of dust, I guess. So I wanted to replicate that. Can't remember if you saw down in that I guess, right-hand corner towards the back, I did add my signature decal, which was the Incredible Hulk. And that was kind of a take on, him probably ravaging this building with his awesome strength. Thought that would be a nice touch and a nice decal to add on this one. And here is the roof work that I completed to close up the building. And as always, I added some tar paper there. You can see the pipe jack and the chimney, and also the antenna, which I've been using on a few of these buildings, so that there's something of interest to look at when you're looking down at the building. Okay, let's see if I can remember what all I've done with this side since the last time I showed it. Well, I think in the front on the bottom there, you can see where I've added the Green Lantern decal. I don't think that I had that. So this building officially has 2 superheroes on it. Also on the stairwell, I added some graffiti. And then towards the front, to hide that seam from the front wall and the side wall there, I added the electrical conduit. And just went through and did a little bit more weathering on the entire side, as well as some dry brushing to bring out some of the details and also add to the weathering effect. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude this build. This was definitely one of those situations where I was allowed to go in with a little bit more creative energies and add a lot of details that I probably normally wouldn't have with a kit that had all the pieces there. But because this one did not, it almost forced me to go in and do this. And I'm glad that I was able to use some of those ideas that may have popped up in my mind to actually execute on the building. So I'm going to go ahead and get this in place so that you can see where it's going to go in the town scene. Appreciate you watching and hope you learned something. Hope that this was entertaining as well. And as always, this is Dave, also known as Loving Them Trains. And until next time, later, y'all.